Hello,
Hello, my brother. How are you doing?
I'm good, doing good. How are you?
Yeah, well, doing well, man. I'm just having a coffee. I really want to see what you have to say. You've been bombarding me lately with the fruitarianism and plant-based diet, and I really, really, really wanted to get into this with you because a lot of people, like, there's other people that have been messaging me, right? You should check this out. You should check Free Melon Society out. That's a user on YouTube for those that don't know. And I wanted to pick your mind a little bit.
Sounds good to me.
Can you explain which diet you are on right now and why would you recommend it to others? And how long have you been on the, I suppose, vegan or fruitarian? And can you explain the difference also?
So, I started my vegan journey like 5 years ago, and I have been like researching diet things for pretty much 12 years. And the reason I went vegan in the first place was because I had a spiritual awakening where I realized that killing animals and eating animals is wrong. Uh, and after this, when I started to eating like vegan, I noticed like my energy were actually getting higher. So the thing is like because I think it's good that I explain like where I come from in this and also like
Yeah, sure. Just share as much as
the
you like.
basis.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because this will actually build up to a clearer picture and better understanding for everyone. So when I started like eating like this, I felt like more energy. I felt my thoughts are more clear, my my emotions are like easier to control in a way, and I still felt more emotions and more empathy. So it was
While
like a
being
total upgrade.
while being able to control them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it was like you could say your awareness is like enhanced and expanded in a way. Um, I think that the main reason of all the reasons why people don't realize that veganism is the healthiest is because people have been afraid to eat a lot of fat. And it's because of a lot of propaganda. Uh, and it's also because of people associating like fat on the body with fat that you eat, you know? And the reason that people do get fat on their body from certain types of fats is because these fats are fats that the body don't know what to do with it. So basically, it's fat with wrong information for our DNA. And how can something that is good for us, like fat, like even the brain is mainly made up of fat and water, you know? How
Yes.
can something like fat have a wrong code for our biology? The only way that's possible is if that type of fat is not the correct fat. It's some kind of fat that we're not supposed to have at all. And it turns out that seed oils is one of that. And if you take, for example, like olive oil, it's healthy. Avocado is healthy. But if you oxidate them by heating them up too much, they will also create trans fats that are bad for you, you know?
Okay, this is what I was
So
trying to ask.
it's the same problem there. Um, and the thing is, like, the body is very adaptable. So, although you have some bad compounds in a fat, like for example, let's say you heat up the olive oil, you will still have some benefits, although some parts will be too toxic for you. So, it will be like a mixture, and then you will say, like, oh, but I feel some benefits from this. And it's the same with like the animal fat. If someone eat like the animal fat, there is some benefits, but there is also a lot of toxins, and the body is still struggling a lot to be able to utilize the fat properly. One other reason, or also why animal fat is so hard to utilize, is because, like, you could call it evolution or intelligent design. Like,
Whatever. Yes.
think about it like this: if you have a plant and it produces, like, let's say, avocado or olives, like these trees, the fat in there doesn't have like I would even go so far and say like an ego, you know? Like in the DNA, it's like coded to really want to survive in like animals
We're
which
talking
is not true for,
about animal fat, right?
yeah, and like to compare it with like avocado and olives, because
Okay.
if you eat a fruit, it's the intention of the tree that this fruit is for us human beings and also like other animals that are
Obviously.
supposed to eat it, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So this fat doesn't have, as I was saying, almost like an ego, you know, to defend itself. It doesn't have that. But if you would eat like an animal fat, uh, the cells, since they're all like adapted or like intelligent design or what you want to say, every cell in your body of any sentient being like animals is trying to survive and protect this animal. And it's very different with the fruit. Sure, it is some mechanisms to defend itself, but it's not the same on a cellular level. So, um, for this reason, if you take, for example, an organ, you receive an organ like organ transplantation, the body start to create these antibodies, you know.
Okay.
And why does it do it? Because on a cellular level, these cells want to stay the same as from the original host.
So what
And it's the
happens?
same then if
What happens in those cases? Like, can things go wrong, or do they go wrong? How do they fix it?
when someone receives as an organ or
Yes.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It goes wrong usually unless they take like medications to remove these antibodies, you know? So it tells us that it's not just your body as a whole with its immune system that tries to fight off foreign substances, but it's also on a cellular level. Your tiniest parts inside of you is trying to fight off what is not supposed to be there. So if you would eat animal fat, the same thing would happen. Like in the fat, that fat would actually fight off to try to stay animal fat, although it's already inside of your human body, you know? And for this reason, I was speaking about like physiognomy when we had our private chat, you know? That if someone would, for example, only eat pig pretty much their whole life, you know, they would probably get like a physiognomical change that
Do you think so?
starts
This is
resembling
what we
that
spoken
animal to
about.
some
Yes,
degree.
this is what we spoken about yesterday. Because you also said somebody
Exactly.
that would grow up watching a lot of action movies and stuff like this, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example, and these actors, that they would eventually grow into this kind of sort of looking person. And then you
Exactly.
mentioned an example with food, but I haven't. I had a lot of before I was even switching to like before I dropped meat, right? I was eating a lot of meat, but it was from different sources. It wasn't just like from one animal, as you said. But you
Yeah.
said if man would eat one animal, he would slowly start looking at it. As it is this animal. You know what I mean? Can
Yeah,
you?
he will get some traits.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Obviously, you don't fucking wanna. You're not gonna look exactly like the pig or the.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why do you think this
And
happens?
why it happens?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's so many factors. For example, let's just make it like very easy because we have this ability to distinguish faces within our own species very easy, but it's quite hard to distinguish a difference between the same type of animals within a male and female, as it is like you see a man and you see a woman, it's like instantaneously you see the differences and stuff. And you can even see like the differences between like your siblings, but it's probably quite hard for you to see the difference in the face of a sibling or in a different animal, you know. So for this reason, uh, it's very easy if we take it just like man and woman to begin with, because it's quite easy to see the difference. The difference, like the main difference, is like the hormones, you know. Like there are so many other differences, of course, but it's like a very clear one, you know, like testosterone and estrogen, you know.
All right.
So if you would, for example, have a two people, they have like the same parents. One would get to eat a lot of estrogenic food, I don't know, maybe they start taking even estrogen hormone or something,
Yes.
and the other one doesn't do that. They, although they were probably like even let's say identical twins. That the other one that takes like these female hormones, if it is two boys, for example, it still wouldn't become like total like a woman. They will still see differences, but it would be very similar still. And for example, if someone is raised up and they have pretty much the same diet, but one is drinking milk from a cow, inside that milk there are hormones of a cow, and especially estrogen, so cow estrogenic hormones. Of course, it's not like just because he's drinking that he'll turn into a cow. It's not like that. But of course, it will still create feminizing properties on him. And since these female hormones are from a cow, not a human being, it will still trigger like resemblance of that animal, because everything is like supposed to help for that animal development. So even if it's estrogen or if it's testosterone, if it is for a specific animal, it will still give that animalistic traits. It's the same if someone would take testosterone, of course they would get specific animal, no, human featuristics of male like masculinity. So in humans, of course. So that hormone of that species will always create resemblance of that species. So if we eat one animal, it's the same thing. There will still be hormones of that animal. And not just hormones, there are other
Like
things like I was saying before, like these
modern
cells try to
modern
survive.
science and nutrition pays no attention at all to this, what you just said.
Yeah, it
No,
doesn't.
zero. They all
Yeah, I
do
know.
the same things: carbohydrates, protein, and vitamins and minerals and stuff like that, right? They will
Yeah,
they will always say, but what about a protein?
yeah. And that's
And
such a
fats,
funny
sorry,
one.
sorry, and fats also, right? But when they
Yeah,
say, what about the protein, right? You cannot live without protein. You would
yeah,
die. Your muscles will. For those who don't know, Peter is how do you say it's foot archery, right? So you have
yeah.
amazing control. He has amazing control over his body. I will drop his link in the description below, unless he doesn't want me to. But you're
You
gonna,
can drop it.
yeah, but you're gonna see what actual skill means, right? And self-mastery, like this cannot be faked, right?
Yeah. And
Now,
and I also
it's
want.
not purely due to diet, right? It's also practice. Um, but can you explain how it connects when you change your diet and then
Yeah,
you started doing these practices?
yeah, absolutely. Uh, and I also want to like tie everything that I've spoken with about now like together, and then I can like dive deep into my skills through this.
Sure.
So we were speaking about like why people don't know that veganism is better. And it's because of the fat, as I said, and it's because like human beings, we are frugivores, 100%. Um, and this means that our diet is pretty much identical to that of an ape and that of a frugivore bat. Also, our teeth are pretty much identical to that of an ape's and a frugivore bat.
Really?
What is very interesting
Even
is,
even the bed. I didn't know about the
yeah,
bed.
uh,
Interesting.
it's actually very few people speaks about this with the bat, because if we would understand this bat, people would probably have been frugivores already. Like the only reason people are eating meat is probably because they have seen one ape doing that, and then they say, "Oh, evolution!
Can
Meat
I
has fat."
can I tell you why I have insisted so much on meat?
Yeah,
Even though I realized the moral aspect since the beginning, because I saw a lot of animal slaughter with my uncle on the farm and so on, right? And sometimes even participated as younger, but I've always felt like this is completely wrong, right? This
yeah,
shouldn't be happening. But one part of me thought this is necessary, right? Otherwise, something's gonna bad's gonna happen. That's one aspect of it.
yeah.
The second is, and this might be holding people back. I didn't want to be perceived as a leftist.
I understand.
Yes. this was the biggest like mental obstacle for me. Like I knew that this is wrong and there is like other alternatives because I don't believe we need just we need to eat meat. I also don't believe we're like we could survive on anything, right? We couldn't even you don't need to eat plants for a while. Do you know what I'm saying, right? As
Yeah,
only
yeah, I know what you
research
mean.
just said opportunistic omnivores, right? But that's not what we really are, at least according to you, right? Um, but I was
Yeah,
always like anything goes, right? As long as I'm living, as long as I'm alive, and though you have people that are like 120 years old and they smoke cigarettes and eat fast food and carbs, and this was my mindset. But why would you?
yeah. So, what I was about to say, like, with this bat, uh, a lot of people, and this is like the reason why people would have realized that we are frugivores. Uh, a lot of people say, like, yeah, but we have canine teeth, like, oh, these are so sharp,
We
but
have
the
like two,
frug,
yeah.
but the frugivore bats have sharper. And what is so interesting is that the frugivore bat, if they would consume any type of meat, even like an insect by mistake, they would get the problems in the stomach, like a lot of digestive issues and stuff. So I mean, they are way less adapted to be able to survive on meat than we are, and their canine teeth are bigger. So I don't think that make any sense to say, oh, we have like canine teeth. Look how sharp they are,
Why
because
do,
no, we don't.
why do
They
we
don't
have
even.
canine teeth? Why do we have them?
No, no. These are just like a little bit sharper here than on other places, and that's like how you can bite fruits easier, uh,
Makes
and
sense.
even like plants, you can rip them off like easier. So it's like a benefit to have like that structure, and that's why the bat also have it, But that doesn't mean that we're supposed to eat meat. If we were supposed to eat meat, we'd have them at least like twice as long, at least, probably like 3 times longer, And the reason for that is because the
I'm sorry
the
about
length they are now, they are not long enough to be able to bite into a raw flesh on an animal without any obstacles. Like if you theoretically speaking would take a piece of an animal that was innocently slaughtered, and just try to rip off that flesh, you're gonna feel pain in your like gums, because they are not designed for that.
Also, people
So,
people really avoid talking about the moral aspect of
of course,
it's like they ignore it.
and
It's like it's not happening.
yeah, and the thing is, like, even in our biology, like, uh, our instincts makes us feel discomfort from seeing blood and pieces of organs, and it's actually a way to measure if someone is a psychopath or not, if they enjoy killing an animal or having thoughts of wanting to hurt animals. So, like, how could how could people have lost their way so much that they think that something that is completely against our nature and our instincts is the way that we evolved,
Because
that is like the
it's not
opposite to
anymore.
evolution.
The program does this way. It's against our nature, yes, I agree. But
Yeah,
right now this is our current instinct, I guess. We could say that.
uh, our instinct in a way to not wanting to watch the truth and tell someone else to do the murder for us. Yeah, sure, in a way. Uh,
I mean, it's a
but
program. You can say it's a programmed
yeah, it's a
mindset.
program, exactly.
Yeah. Damn. Have you watched Earthlings, the documentary?
What?
Earthlings, the documentary.
Earthlings.
Yes.
Uh, I'm not sure if I've seen that.
Well, you don't have to see it because you know about these things, but I challenge anyone looking. Mark Passio told me about this, well, through his show, right? Um,
All right.
Earthlings is a documentary which it's like hour and a half long, and he challenged anyone who's still pro meat and pro like slaughtering animals that he watches this documentary, and it's basically horrible. You can't watch it without literally crying. or looking away and things like this, and it shows like how they what they do in these slaughterhouses. They show also animals in circuses. They show how they dehorn animals. They show, I saw one video was particularly disturbing when a small dog or something like a fox was skinned alive for fur and placed on a hook. And as it was bleeding out without skin, you can see the skull and eyes. It was fucking horrible.
Yeah, that sounds horrific.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So the thing is, like, our biology is so similar to the apes when it comes to digesting fruits.
What do apes eat?
Um,
You said they're
yeah,
frugivores.
exactly. What?
You said they're frugivores, right? I've heard it said that they
Yeah,
eat meat, but I never looked.
no. So the thing is, like, all the great apes eat 98% plant-based. So these 2% is
And they're
like,
strong.
yeah. So these 2% is like occasionally they get like pretty much mostly bugs, and it's because like it's hard to get all these minerals that they need in some cases where like soil is bad, etc. But they prefer only fruit. So in an ideal condition, they will only eat fruit pretty much. Uh, if it's not fruit, they will also consume the plants. So they are, in that sense, 100% designed frugivores. They don't need or want anything else but plant and fruit. So yeah, there are exceptions also where when there's absolutely no food at all, where apes can eat
Oh,
like meat from another. But that's survival, and I mean humans would do the same to be able to survive. Even someone that is a frugivore, if they're stranded on an island, and there's just one animal there, you spent all your days there, and you're about to die, you probably start fish, or if you don't fish, you eat that animal. It's like that or die. What option do you have?
yeah, but
But unless you're in that situation, you are only supposed to eat fruit. And what I mean with just fruit, I mean like, for example, you could eat avocado, that's a fruit. You could eat tomato, that's a fruit. You could eat cucumber, that's a fruit. People like to think that these are like vegetables, but they are fruits. They have
cucumber
seeds.
also.
Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah. Uh, but here is the thing. The tastiest plant is often the healthiest plant. And this is because, like, if you think of it like this, like, if you have a plant that wants to reproduce, it will obviously target those animals that will help it to spread their seeds. So it will try to create a cocktail of healthy compounds and tasty compound for that animals that they know are most capable of spreading their fruits further, like their seeds further through their fruits, I mean.
Yes, yes, I know what you mean.
So yeah, uh, and then like, why do we still like enjoy cucumber? Yeah, because it has like very healthy water. It's structured water in them. But they are not going to be as sweet as a watermelon. So they are both good for different reasons. And if you understand biology super well, then you understand like that we need more fat soluble things during the morning time. And that's mainly because like the sun gives you vitamin D. So we're like intelligently designed in this way. So like avocado in the morning is better for you. And this is why people like intermittent fasting with some fats, because we're actually designed to have the fats in the morning. So this is the main difference between the human biology and the ape biology. Because if you have an ape, what is the actual difference between an ape and a human? The main difference is the brain size.
Yes.
That's the biggest one, but also the heart. So
Really?
what does this mean? Yeah. So what does this mean? It means that the human being diet is identical to an ape diet, but with the exception that the human being should eat way more fat, and especially during the morning time. So what do I eat? I try to follow this as good as possible. And as I say, this is like the main reason why people doesn't realize that we are frugivores because they don't understand, like this said about the bat, but they also don't understand that fat is very essential for us. And so when they start eating the meat, they start feeling better because they get the fats that they were deprived of. And they were only deprived of it because of the propaganda that fat is bad, you know? So
Oh, I never
it's such
believed
a
that.
myth for people, you know? And also this propaganda with the protein. You don't need protein, you need amino acids
Really?
because your body will always only build proteins through amino acids. If you eat proteins, your body may break down these proteins or toss them down the toilet, you know. But most likely, at least when it's a good and not too much of it, like a good amount, your body will break them down and make amino acids with them. You know, that's all that proteins does when you consume them. They become amino acids. And
So
what does the amino acids become? Human proteins.
really,
So why not? Yeah. So why would you go through that process of eating proteins when you can eat amino acids to create proteins? Like, why would you first take the proteins to create amino acids instead of just taking amino acids? So yeah, this will help you also like gaining muscles and stuff. Like when I'm speaking about these things, why doesn't I look like the strongest man on earth if I have all this knowledge about like how proteins works and the diet? Well, it's because that's not my main focus. What is my main focus? It's my brain. And I do actually have a lot of proofs that both this diet and the brain training that I've done do have significantly powerful results. And for example, it's not like I'm just shooting bow and arrow, like we were speaking about, you know. But I also play piano with my feet. How many people in the world that have hands? I have hands, play piano with their feet, you know. That's quite rare, if
that
anyone
that's
does it, you know,
crazy.
except me.
So Peter is
Yeah,
a foot archer and plays piano with his feet and can do handstands and probably many other things, right?
yeah, I have a lot of skills that I got through my diet.
But
And of course,
somebody
it's
would
training.
say a meat eater can do the same.
What you said?
Somebody would say that a meat eater would do the same.
Yeah,
Could do.
and that's so funny because,
But
as I said, like,
very few people in general can do this, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I'm not trying to discredit you or anything.
no, I understand. But it's kind of funny that like 12 years I've been like researching food and stuff, and I have only been vegan for 5 years, you know. Uh, I started to play piano with my feet 4 years ago, and I'm not sure if I would have like the confidence nor the capability to do that if I didn't go vegan. And I had learned about the fat and how important the fat is, like pretty much in the beginning of my journey. And that was what helped me like uh, develop some other of my skills, you know, and even boost brain power and stuff. But it was nothing compared to when I actually learned that veganism is the only way. And also
Or
now I
fruitarianism.
learned,
Okay, like there's a difference, right? Because maybe
yeah,
some people are still confused. And can you
yeah.
explain
So the thing is like,
why is one better than another?
yeah. So I went vegan like 5 years ago. I started to try go more frugitarian pretty much a year back. Um, and a half year ago, I started like eating uh, a bit like fermented food, but also raw food went quite pretty much after that, like 1 month after. So I have tried to eat as much raw food as possible for the last half year, but also I'm doing a lot of experiments for the past half year with fermentation. And when it comes to fermentation, it's basically like the same bacteria as like in kimchi and stuff like that. Uh,
Never
so the
tried that.
human never tried kimchi? You should.
No,
You should.
not kimchi, not and not fermentation. None of that.
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand.
One day maybe.
Um,
I mean, I'm open to it.
yeah, 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 it's good stuff. Uh, so the human diet is basically like a brain diet and a heart diet. What is good for the heart is basically what's good for the blood, you know?
What about the gut?
What?
The gut.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Like we're intelligently designed to basically eat everything that's good for every single body part, and that's why also a lot of food resembles different types of body parts. Um, but
Walnut.
it's like the main what?
Walnut looks like a brain.
Yeah, exactly. And
Banana looks.
nuts. What?
Banana looks like a...
It
maybe
does.
maybe I should eat more bananas, man, and cucumbers.
And also for fertility, it's great as a man that we eat figs, you know?
Sorry?
So for fertility, it's also good as a man that we eat figs.
Really?
Yeah,
Pigs.
you know what it looks like, so
Yeah.
yeah.
You're gonna send me some links, man. This is like interesting stuff. But do you believe, like
Yeah, sure.
fruits, do you really believe fruits affect your etheric body or plants in general?
Affect my what?
Etheric body, it's called.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes?
Absolutely.
In what way? And can you explain what is the etheric body for those that never heard of this term, maybe?
So, so basically we have our physical body, and the higher vibration from like physical matter is like electricity and light, you know? And there are different spectra within the light. So the etheric body is like a higher vibrational light, you know? So here is the thing. Like you can think of it these like dimensions. Um, like all right, it's a little bit complex things, but I will try to simplify this and make this as clear as possible. All
Yeah,
right.
I approximately
So
know what it is. It's like a layer of body,
yeah,
but like we don't see it with our naked eye.
yeah, exactly.
Is this aura what people call?
Yeah, yeah. I will call the third body the aura also. Yeah. Uh, like to my understanding, is like the aura is like the energy from the etheric body, like being beamed outwards, you know.
Yes.
But you also have this energy inside, like you know. Um, but yeah, I want to explain this as thorough as possible, and not just tell you like, oh, you can see the etheric energy from like living fruits, you know, and stuff like that. I want to make people actually understand it just as well as matter. Although I'm not gonna give a lecture as long as you've had when you were learning about matter in school, you know, or something.
Yeah, but just for the
But yeah,
people that don't know, like you can put it in simple
but
words.
yeah,
I don't,
exactly.
yeah, doesn't
So I
matter.
will give you a thorough understanding of this as simple as possible and as short as possible. So if you think about it like this, if you have a piano, you have like the darker and the lighter, like the scales, the vibration increases, you know, so it increases the pitch. It's the same with everything in our reality. So basically, there are infinitive dimensions, and what we are seeing with our eyes is like the third dimension, all right?
The 3D reality.
Uh, exactly. Uh, but we're experiencing more than just three dimensions. So basically, what you're interpreting with your eyes, that's like 3D, you know? But your mind is always experiencing more dimensions because the mind has no limitations of dimensions that it can experience since it is of its essence infinitive dimensions, although it's temporarily limited to finite dimensions in
Okay.
its experience. But it doesn't mean that it's disconnected from infinitive dimensions. It's just not experiencing infinitive dimensions. So, with that being said, um, you have the three-dimensional body, the matter, you know. When you increase the vibration, you have solid, then it becomes liquid, and then it becomes gas, and then becomes plasma, and then it becomes ether. So plasma is essentially low vibrational ether, and you have an etheric body made of ether. All right. So Nikola Tesla was very deep into ether. If you want to learn more about ether, you can look up the work of Nikola Tesla. Uh, so, uh, After ether, there is the astral, all right? And after the astral, it's like the mental. Uh, so these are different dimensions in a way.
We exist as a whole within these dimensions.
Yeah, like your mind is experiencing more dimensions than just the third dimension because you're seeing three dimensions, like, oh, the solid and this, but you're also experiencing your emotions. That's another dimension,
Yeah, and
and you're
they're
also,
inside, they're not here, right?
yeah, exactly. You're experiencing the inside and the outside simultaneously.
This is only the body is
And
3D, right?
yeah, like what you're seeing outside of you is like 3D, and your solid body is like 3D, but your experience, what you're actually experiencing with this, that's another dimension to that.
Modern
So
science,
it's not
modern
just,
science, modern science would say this is all just, and I'm gonna let you finish your point, but modern science would say this is all just emotional chemical reactions, your emotions. There is no other worlds and dimensions. It's all just you and this body and flesh and blood, and you're gonna die, and that's it, you know. But go to your point, and then we can continue on this one because I don't want to
yeah,
go
yeah.
off track.
So dimensions, they work like this. I remember I explained how I started to understand them to a friend of mine like 12 years ago, by giving this example of like a calculator, So the calculator is like three-dimensional, like the numbers you see, they're two-dimensional, and the math in itself is like one-dimensional. It's like a code. Like if you think about like ones and zeros, that in itself is like a mathematical code. So basically a higher dimension start to like control the lower dimension. It's like an artist is taking a pencil that is three-dimensional to paint 2D, so he paints two dimensions, and this two-dimensional painting have in itself a one-dimensional code. So what this tells us is like the higher dimension controls the lower, and it's like only being inspired by the lower, but the lower dimension is not controlling the higher. So it's the same with our bodies, as above, so below,
Yes,
So our bodies like three-dimensional, and then we have this etheric body that is four-dimensional. But the thing is, like as I was saying, it's like a piano. So maybe it's like 4.5 dimensional or something, or like. So here is the thing: things that we experience is like three-dimensional, but it's like in this 3D world, Um, but the vibration is always different. So is it really true that things are 3D, or are they like 3.5D, or 3.1D, etc. So it's a little bit difficult to like really limit our dimensions to a fixed number in that sense, since everything is just vibrations in the end of the day, Uh, and I think that that's probably one of the issues in our society today, that we're trying to limit everything into a box when in reality things are curved and not linear, So, yeah, but just to give a better picture and clearer understanding, sure, we can limit these things just to be able to speak about the same thing, you know.
yes. For the sake of
But
conversation.
yeah, but as I said, like it's not the absolute truth. And what is the absolute truth in a world of illusions, Like the Hermetic law, all truths are but half truths, and it's because we're in Maya, It doesn't mean that there is no absolute truth. It just means that we're essentially in a dream simulation, what you want to call it, And it is of our free will. We wanted to do this, Separation is essentially just an illusion. Uh, so it's not someone forcing us to do this, it's we doing this to us,
That's what I
for
say
growth.
always.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so going back to dimensions and our experience, so we have the feelings, we have our imaginations, that's another layer to more dimensions, So what is ether? it is like I said, like higher dimension, higher vibrational light, And as I said, it's like the piano. You have the lower vibrations, you increase them, become liquid, gas, plasma, ether. So our etheric body is essentially working like this, like a calculator. It has these higher dimensions, so it can control the lower dimension, just like a pencil controls the 2D world. And the etheric body is being controlled by the astral body, which has even higher dimensions. Um, and the astral body is being controlled by the mind. So we move because we think to move. Uh, you can surely make different categories of thought. You can have like a verbalized thought like you're thinking in words, but you can also think like a baby. And the baby doesn't have a language to speak in words.
Yeah, because
So
when I move my hand, or when I get up to walk, or when I smoke a cigarette, I don't think consciously about these things.
exactly.
Or when we
So you
breathe.
you are you are thinking, but you're not like thinking in words to do it. It's like so it's a different thing. And yeah, sure, we can also like do things on autopilot, but we're still if you're pretty much going to smoke or do something that you're kind of just planning in some kind of way or thinking about, even if you're not thinking about words, you're still like thinking a bit about it. It's like so yeah, there are many ways to think, but essentially we think before we act, most of the time at least. So
Does
but yeah,
everyone think
the
before
point
they
is,
act? I think a lot of people do not think before they act.
yeah, sure. But the main thing is like there is some mental activity going on before we are making our actions. So there is some kind of thought process.
Because there has to be thought of whatever kind for an action to take place,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. But it doesn't mean that we're contemplating on every action before we do them. So
Yeah, okay.
uh,
Makes sense.
yeah, so yeah, the mind is then higher, and the highest is like you could call the observer in the mind, but like you can also say it's life in itself. Like the life in you is like the highest, and this life is like observing the mind in a way, although it's like almost your mind is like observing the reality also in a way. It's like
That's how it seems.
what?
That's how it seems, that the mind is observing reality.
Yeah, what it's like this. Your brain is essentially decoding electrical impulses, and then the mind is taking this information that is the final product of this decoded information of the brain. And then you are doing what you want with that your mind now has to offer pretty much. um and like it's like the ego in the mind is like deciding what to do, like with what
Yes.
the mind has to offer. But the mind and the ego is kind of like linked in a way. It's like almost like the
The
same thing,
ego
although
is the
it's
seat of our conscious decisions, right?
pretty much, I would say. But there is still the higher thing, and the higher thing is like that which is just observing. It's not really doing much. It's just the observer in everything. It's like your life. It's like you're always alive. It's unchangeable. Like your ego, you can have like an ego death in that sense. Like if you take a psychedelic, you're not feeling like you are this body. You are everything pretty much. Uh, but the observer of that experience is still there, and it's completely unchanged. And this observer is unchanged even from birth to this day. You're the exact same observer. So this life in you is like the highest, and this life is like one with everything on a fundamental level. It's just like this illusion of Maya
Is
is
this is
creating.
this what we're talking about when you do like prolonged states of meditation? This is the realization. you come to. Because
Yeah,
in our daily lives, with our distractions, with the lives that are fast today, you don't think like that. Oh, I'm the observer. You get so tangled up and caught up in your thoughts, right? Due
yeah,
to these stresses. And then it's
yeah,
all like,
exactly.
I'm my thought, I'm my feeling, and that's it. It narrows your vision. Is this
Yeah,
what you're talking about?
I like you said with this with the meditation. Yeah, uh, these are like the realizations because if you would open your third eye, for example, you will see like all of these things. It's just like we are so caught up in this identity of ours that we are like, oh, me, the ego, oh,
How
and
do we how do we open our third eye?
so there are probably many ways to do that. Um, I think that someone should probably decalcify it first, like or decalcify the pineal gland first. Is better to say, uh, and it's blocked by the fluoride. So you should stop use like any fluoride like products at all. Um, but what would work, after you have done these detoxifications and you're vegan and everything, probably on a fruitarian diet, and you have done a liver flush, that would also help. After these things, basically, if you do like Kundalini and then you send this energy into your third eye, then it will open. So it's good to know.
What
Um,
happens? What happens when the third eye is open in someone?
yeah, you basically see that we're all with everything. That separation is just an illusion. There are a lot of more things. Uh, so I think that a lot of these things are a bit personal.
Yeah,
Um,
depends, right?
yeah, but basically it will take you closer to truth.
Okay.
And you cannot deny uh, these truths. And for some people, that may be like very shocking. Um,
Would you advise that somebody doesn't do that, or at least doesn't try to force it in a way to avoid some sort of spiritual psychosis, perhaps?
eh, I would say that a person should prepare before they do it. I think that every human being should do it, but I don't think that people should force themselves. I don't think that they should stress this out. I do think that every person should, as soon as possible, try to remove the fluoride in their pineal gland because it's having a lot of effect on their cognitive skills and a lot of things. Uh, if someone don't want to go too much into their spirituality, what they should do uh, is still try to like uh, learn how to lucid dream, and it's good for the pineal gland. Like there are a lot of things that still keeps you like you could say rounded to this three-dimensional plane, doing these things that you were always planning to do. Um, and still giving you like glimpses of the spiritual realm, which is only good for you. That
Yes.
can also boost you with creativity.
Can,
So
can we talk about lucid dreaming? Because let's say I want to start lucid dreaming, or anyone else, but they're scared of things like
yeah,
sleep paralysis, or maybe they will have work early in the morning. Because from what I've heard, lucid dreaming and attempting these things, it makes you up at night for longer times. So you're gonna wake up naturally more tired and stuff like that. So is this advisable for someone who works a job and wakes up early, or how do you see it? Maybe you just have to push
uh,
through it, right? I don't know.
so the thing is like this: how I personally view sleep paralysis. I know that a lot of people have different opinions of this, and I do think that it's a good sign, but I do think that people have sleep paralysis because basically their astral body or your soul or what you want to refer to this, is trying to give you like an astral projection experience, like allowing you to leave your physical body, fly and do anything in this realm that you need to do to like take you further in your spiritual development. But because the pineal gland is so decalcified, uh, it's too hard to leave the body. And so the body falls asleep, but you can basically not leave it, you know? It's like you went half the way, but you didn't really finish the task. So that's my personal perspective of it. So it's like a good sign in that way that your body is trying to give you an amazing or incredible experience, you know, and you have the capacity to do it quite easy. It's just like you have to first, it's just that you first have to like detoxify your pineal gland, and then you can experience that. Um,
So why would somebody do lucid dreaming? Is it like for fun, for pleasure, for curiosity, or is there like higher like spiritual purpose in regards to development? Because I don't
I
see
would
at this
say
point, for me, like me, for example, I don't see why I would be doing it. Um, it,
so. So
it can seem
lucid
like a
dreaming,
hassle.
yeah. There are some people that have bad lucid dreams and have had it long time, you know, and that's probably one reason why they shouldn't eat meat, because like that fear and stuff is probably giving them these bad dreams. But a person that is healthy and doing everything correct, their lucid dreams are most often just amazing, and does help them like with their spiritual development. It helps them be able to have an open mind to more of this world, more things of this world. And the thing is that you should do lucid dreaming for whatever reason. Like if you desire to experience something, you can most often do that in your lucid dream. Um, if you want to just like have a virtual reality similar kind of experience, you know, you will have that. It's like you have two lives in a way, you know, like you have this life and then you have the lucid dreaming life.
Is the lucid
And
dreaming life, could it be said it's also a reality?
yeah, I would
It's
say
real.
so. Yeah, I would say that's just as real as this one. Sometimes it feels even more real there than here, you know.
But there you can die, for example, or jump off a building and like nothing's gonna happen to you in the physical. How does that work?
Yeah, and I mean, um it's real,
Because
but
some people will die
like
in dreams, right? Like it happened to a lot of people.
yeah, yeah, it's like if you die in a lucid dream or you die in a normal dream, you're still coming back here. Yeah, sure, but it's like whenever you have an experience in a lucid dream, you will feel like that really mattered to you, you know? Uh, and the experience is probably only going to be like positive. You're not going to like die in a lucid dream unless your vibration is like very low for some kind of reason. So like yeah, sure, all things can happen in a lucid dream and it can feel very real, but I have my perspective of why it's so real, and I don't know if people would agree with my perspective on
You
this
can you
one. I
can
don't
you
know.
can share it, but you also don't
Uh,
need it if you don't want to. Because I have quite a few questions
yeah,
in dreams with regards to dreams in general, right? But in lucid dreaming, I wanted to ask how much of it can you control it actually? I mean, is it a matter
yeah,
of skill, of level where you're at?
yeah. And if you have a good vibration and good intention, you can pretty much control anything, you know, in a lucid dream. But what I was going to say, like probably people will not agree with this, but I do believe that whenever we lucid dream, it's kind of like when we're projecting in that sense that we're leaving our physical body and we're actually going somewhere. That's my point, you know.
That's
Um,
not controversial, I believe. Like I heard this
all right.
several times.
Because a lot of people think that we're just dreaming in our heads, you know. So,
Oh, you think that we actually go? No, I also believe we actually go somewhere during dreams.
oh
What
yeah.
about those times when we sleep but we don't dream, or at least we don't remember, and it's like blackout? What happens then?
Um,
Do we know?
so I would first of all say like this: you can never have not an experience, you know. Like if you call something a blackout or you just fall asleep and then wake up and stuff, you were still always conscious. You were always knowing what was happening from the moment it started happening to the end. The question is, do you recall what happened or not, you know?
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, like if it's just black, did you just go to a world where it was just black? That's a good question, you know? Doesn't matter exactly what it was, but you were still always knowing what was happening every single moment, and
So
it will always be that.
how could someone intelligently work with their dreams? I'm not talking about lucid dreaming, but let's say I have a funny dream this night, whether it was something scary or pleasurable or something that feels like, it had a meaning, but I don't remember it and I want to journal my dreams and stuff like that. Is there any benefit to that? And why would somebody do it? Because I heard a friend say that it's very important. He reads Jung a lot, right? And he said it's very important to do this. I don't know how it's called,
Yeah.
dream work or whatever you might call it, right? Basically,
So
interpreting what happened to you in your dreams.
yeah, I think you can learn a lot from interpretations of your dreams. So when it comes to like journaling, I think that's very good because you will start to recall your dreams easier. The brain is an adaptation machine. So whatever you bring importance to, the brain will start to connect more neurons to uh, be better at it, you know?
Yes.
So uh, if you do journaling, you will essentially train your brain to start to both create more memories of your dreams, but also easier be able to control lucid dreams and easier put yourself into better experiences whenever you're dreaming. If you believe in the law of attraction, then having positive dreams all the times and probably inspiring dreams also will also attract a better life on the physical plane, you know. So there's only benefits to this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I don't think we place, well, I know we don't place as much importance on this in our society. In general, like
Yeah,
people are not interested in the mind, the subconscious mind, the dreams, none of that, right? People are just
yeah,
this and that's it.
exactly.
But then
And
again,
that's
a lot of people are also busy with like their daily lives, families, jobs, or maybe they just don't want to dedicate themselves.
yeah, and that puts them a lot to be stuck in this inside the box thinking instead of outside the box thinking. Um, so I wanted to tell you that like how I started to lucid dream. Um, like the first thing that I did to learn lucid dreaming was that I'd seen this YouTube tutorial that you look on your hands, like on this side, you know. So you do that like as much as possible, I would say, throughout the day. And then when you are inside of your dream, you will start to do that again because it becomes like a habit, you know. I don't have that habit in the waking now since I
Yeah.
know how to do a lot, but you know, it's a great start. So once you're in the dream and you start doing that in the dream, you'll see like your hands are different. And when you see that your hands are very different, then you will start to connect that with this is probably a dream, you know? Like, why are my hands doing that thing? Why are the shapes so different, etc., you know?
This is
Then
how
you'll
I
be like, oh,
recognize this is when I take mushrooms and I'm starting to feel the come up, but I don't know yet for certain if I'm high. I just look at my hands.
all right.
Really. And if it's something like different about him, if it's weird, then I know I'm fucking high. Yeah.
All right. Good strategy, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, and once you recognize that this is a dream, it's quite easy to take control over the dream and do whatever you want. And as you are starting to control the dream, it becomes like more lucid in a sense and more realistic. Like the graphic can increase and everything. Uh, the benefit I had in the beginning when I started to lucid dream, it was that there was things like I hadn't done in this world, you know, in this plane of existence that I felt bad about not having done, you know. So I started doing them in the dream, and it gave me a lot more confidence, you know. So I think that just the confidence boost is a great reason to start doing this.
But does it affect then your confidence on the physical reality?
Yeah. A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
That's just fucking amazing. It's unbelievable. I mean, I've heard of these things before, right? But I never talked with anyone that actually has done it. Or I maybe had a chat like 5 minutes or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
it's
No, it's okay.
amazing.
It's cool.
It's amazing. Do you think plant-based diet help you with achieving those states?
Uh, Definitely veganism in itself, yeah. Um, if I do want to have a lucid dream like really badly, then I will structure my food specifically for that. And I've noticed if you eat, for example, pomegranates in the evening, it will help you to achieve lucid dream states. Also, dates, um, pineapple help to some degree. It's not like super powerful like the pomegranates, but if you combine these two, they will have a synergistical effect. Uh, Also, in the pineapple, there is quercetin that has a synergistical effect with this compound that is in the grapes. I don't have it on the top of my head right now, but anyway, like grapes and oranges has naranginine, uh, which is also quite powerful as an antioxidant. So if you combine like grapes, no, sorry, I mean grapefruit, not grapes, sorry.
Grapefruit?
Uh, yeah. So if you combine like grapefruit, like you take one grapefruit and then several pomegranates, and then like one pineapple, and then for maximum benefit, you take some dates. And even the date, it looks a little bit like a pineal gland.
It
So
does.
if you take all of these, yeah, and even the pineapple, it's like a huge pineal gland. It's like, so yeah, you combine these, and it will help you a lot to achieve a lucid dreaming state. And even if you are a skilled lucid dreamer already, and you take this, it will enhance the lucidity of your lucid dream. Um, Another thing I also know is like reishi. If you take that, it can also boost it. Um, I'm also an inventor of nootropics. Uh, I would say that I'm probably one of the best in the world when it comes to create supplements that enhance both intelligence but also lucid dreaming states and stuff like
Really?
that. Yeah,
I
and
didn't
I'm
know you do
working on
that.
what?
I didn't know you do that.
So the thing is, like, my mother, she comes from shamans in Mozambique, who I suppose were the greatest shamans. So it's kind of in my blood to understand plants in that way.
From Mozambique.
Um, yeah.
Okay. You think they're the best shamans. Why do you think so?
No, I'm not saying all of Mozambique. There was a
No,
specific tribe.
this specific tribe, yes.
Yeah, so I've been in Mozambique, and my mother, her grandfather was like the shaman leader of the North tribe in Mozambique. Um, so yeah, um, I have this, and also like all of my siblings have had out of body experiences, like astral projection. And this happened to them very natural. It's something also my mother spoke about a lot of times, like when she was growing up, she had a lot of out of body experiences all the time, spontaneously. So
Have you
yeah,
ever had one?
yeah, sure. I
Do
have
you know,
had several ones. Yeah,
do you know how to astral project?
I kind of know the technique. I had pushed that aside for the moment, uh, because one time actually, it wasn't the last time, but it was the last time for quite a long time. I had a bad experience when I was doing that. I don't want to go into too much details. I don't think that doing astral projection is bad in any way. I think that everyone should do it. Like literally, it would make the world a better place. And like
What
for real,
happen, what happens during this experience? I've read a bit about on the technique. We won't go into that now because it's all over the internet anyways. But I'm more interested in the experience itself. Like what happens? You just start like fucking flying out your body or what?
So I can tell you like the first time it happened. So the first time it happened, it was quite interesting. I was just laying in my bed and I thought that I fell asleep, you know? Uh, and I thought that like I was probably waking up or something. I didn't know exactly like what was going on. But I was in my bed and I was like, all right, I'm lifting up my arm, I'm gonna go out of the bed, you know, like I don't know, check the clock or something, you know. Uh, and when I did that, I noticed like the bed didn't move, like the sheet above me didn't move or anything. And I was like, what? I moved my hand, my arm, like what is going on? And then I moved the other one, and nothing is like changing. And then I start looking like this, you know, and I see like I can see straight through like my arm, you know. And then I'm turning around and I see like my body still laying there. And
So you were not
just
yet floating, right?
yeah, exactly. I hadn't floated out, but I was like kinda about to hover out. It's like
Yes.
a lot parts were still like the astral body was mainly inside of my physical body, but some parts were like about to leave, you know? So when I was like moving my arm, it had like almost fully gone out of the body already. Um, and then I pushed up my leg. I think it was like the right leg or something, and I could see its astral shape like going up like this, like and I was like, what is going on? And I had heard about like something similar, but I hadn't done any real research upon like astral projection or something, you know. So I was a little bit like shocked in that moment, like but the thing is like it's still very natural in that sense. It's not like you'd be like, oh, what the heck is going on?
You're
Am I
not you're
hallucinating
not
or dreaming? Stuff
terrified
like
of
that.
it. Yeah,
Exactly, you're
I
not.
know. A lot of
It
people said
feels
the
very
same.
natural. Yeah. So it's felt very natural, not natural, but it was still a little bit like almost confusing. Like, what's going on? Like, yeah, I don't understand this, you know.
But you
Um,
you didn't go very far, right?
yeah, but I did a little bit after because I was like pushing myself. Uh, and I think I'm not 100% sure because this was like what was it? I think 13 years ago. I think. Uh, I think I was thinking something like I want to go out of this body and see fly up, you know, if it's possible, something like that. I'm not sure if I was thinking exactly like that, but something similar because, as I said, like I had heard a little bit similar things, although I never done any real research. So I pushed myself up and I went like astral body went up to the roof, you know, and I saw a little tiny dark dot on the roof, like extremely tiny, that I wouldn't be able to see if I was like laying on the bed, you know. And then a little bit later, I kind of woke up in my bed, you know. And then I went into my like living room and grabbed a chair to be able to like see what's like up there
The
in
dot.
the roof, you know. Yeah. I think I even stood on the bed and tried to like almost jump up and see, and you know, it's like I tried a lot of things just to see if I could find that tiny dot, you know.
Do you
And
believe
I
that
did find it.
people doing astral projection, do you believe they can fly so high they see Earth from above?
Yeah. There is actually this guy called Darius J. Wright that have mastered astral projection. And so I haven't mastered it per se, but I have had experience where I consciously decide I want to astral project, and then I practice some techniques, and I left my body, you know.
But
But
where do you
anyway,
go?
this
Because if you're astral projecting, does this mean your astral body leaves the physical, or do you go into astral dimension?
yeah, you leave the physical, but you still call it like the astral dimension. It's like dimension in this 3D dimension. It's like a layer on top of it, you know.
Like you would still see this room as it is,
Yeah, exactly,
but
exactly.
there's
But so,
entities that can appear.
so I sup yeah, I would say that. I've had something similar where that I experienced, but um,
You don't want to talk
uh,
about it.
yeah, that also, but also like I don't think that people should be afraid of these things. It's just like what I think personally happened, all right? Just so without going into too much details. I think that personally I had a quite low vibration, you know? Like I was feeling bad and stuff like that before I tried these things. At that time, it's not like I felt always bad. But and this was so many years ago, like 11 years ago when I had that experience. So when I was in very low vibration, sure, maybe it's bad doing astral projection in low vibration, but even after that bad experience, which made me not astral project for a long time because I got like an adrenaline rush whenever I tried after that. Uh, Experience that I've had after that, like that was natural, um, they were always positive. So only good things. And I also learned more about like my astral body or like the etheric body. I suppose it's the etheric body because I noticed you can shapeshift it when you're outside of your body, you know?
What do you
You
mean
can
by that?
shapeshift the etheric body. What?
What do you mean by that?
So the etheric body, I made it create like some water patterns. It became like I started to look like water, you know? But this is like when you're outside your body and doing this with your etheric body, uh, no one can see this, you know? It's like if someone is astral projecting, they could probably see that if you meet another person that astral, if they're both in this plane, you know?
That
But it's
happens,
not
right?
like what?
That happens.
Uh, I'm not sure if I had that exact experience, but I'm pretty sure that people do this. Yeah, and I've heard like people doing like tantra and stuff. They both leave their body and then they do tantra outside their body, you know.
Crazy
Um,
shit.
so yeah, that's something. Uh,
I don't know.
but
I wouldn't take it that far, man.
yeah, that's something. Yeah. But yeah,
What if somebody was here in a room with me and he's observing me and I don't see him? I wouldn't be able to see him, right?
yeah, you wouldn't be able to see him at all.
But what if I would be so upgraded in my consciousness?
So maybe some people with special abilities can see people doing this, you know. Um, but I don't know so much about this, but
Yeah, we're just talking,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, anyways, what would you recommend as a tip for someone that's like that found this podcast interesting and wants to perhaps enter this area of plant-based diet, fruitarianism even, and do you recommend any supplements or are you against them completely?
So yeah, I mentioned this like the liver flush, and then you start like a fruit fast, and then you add a lot of avocados, so you actually get the fats that you need. After that, it's very important that you try to get enough omega-3. So I usually take Algia omega-3. And the thing is that this is way more bioavailable for us than any other omega-3 out there. Another thing is the B12. So today people take and like the B12 supplement and they give to the animals, and then people eat the animals and they think they get the B12, you know. Uh, but they are being supplemented this. In the wild, there is B12 in the dirt, and
Really?
that's how a lot of animals get it. That's how we used to get a lot of it. There is also B12 in the algae. So I suppose that human beings in the past ate a lot of algae for the omega-3 since it's so bioavailable, and also to get the B12. Um,
So the
so the
B12
B12
is
that
in
they
the
give,
algae, right?
exactly.
Okay.
So when cows are eating grass and things, they get a lot of B12 through like the dirt and stuff, and then it gets stored in their stomach because it's bacteria that creates it, you know. So this bacteria is living in their stomach. So for this reason, since they have this fermentation process as a herbivore, they with their forestomach, they are able to always get enough B12, while we don't have so much of B12 uh, bacteria in our stomach, so we have to always supplement with B12. The thing is also that although we have a few of them coming in from food and stuff, like these bacteria, you know, we don't absorb it so well in the gut. So for this reason, we should take the supplementation of the B12 unless we're eating like we did in the past with a lot of dirt and things and enough with this algae that we had. like checked the oldest fossils of human beings, and they saw that we were always plant-based. So it seems like algae was a big part of this for the omega-3.
Really?
So the thing is that they give the B12 in the form of hydroxy. No, sorry, they give it in the form of cyanocobalamin, which is basically the same as cyanide combined with B12. And that's what the animals get. And then human beings are eating them, and they're getting essentially like a slight cyanide poisoning, making them unable to absorb as much oxygen as they are supposed to. But it's so small amount, so people don't feel the side effects on it, you know, but it's still there. So the form of B12 that you should buy is hydroxycobalamin. It's found in some caves in the water, in hot lakes and stuff. But usually they synthesize it. The one that is in plants, for example, from the algae, and also you get it from the bacteria. That form is in the methyl cobalamin. So that's the most natural form you can get, like the methyl cobalamin, but also the hydroxycobalamin is good. So I also wanted to say, because I recall this that I mentioned before about the bromelain.
What's that?
No, I mentioned about the quercetin in the pineapple that people get better, like lucid dreaming from.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the compound I forgot was the bromelain. So the bromelain was
Sorry?
actually in the
How?
pineapple. The bromelain was in the pineapple.
Okay.
I recall because I said wrong before. And the quercetin, you can get it from like berries, and it's also some in the grapes. And the grape has most of the naringenin, so it's a lot of flavonoids. The bromelain is not a flavonoid though; it's an enzyme, but they have synergy, as I mentioned before. So combine all these, and you will have the best lucid dreamings. Uh, yeah, to make it cheap, also, I recall you wanted to know, and then also like the ethical things. A very cheap way you can get proteins on the vegan diet. So if you're not super strict to the fruitarian diet, a cheap way is to get peas, since they have a lot of protein. Uh, and as I said, like you can make amino acids from the proteins, although it's not the best process. But it's so cheap, you know. So you can get very cheap protein from it. You get some of the amino acids also. Uh, you can get like for $1, you may get like 500 grams, or 400, 300 grams, something like that.
Yeah.
And
They're
if you
cheap.
wanted bio, it's probably like twice what?
They're cheap. They're cheap.
Yeah, really cheap, and they're still healthy, you know. And I'm talking like the dried ones. And so if it's bio, it's probably twice the price, but still, it's like cheap. And you can get this. You put them in water. You soak them till they're very soft. If you want to absorb even easier, you use a blender. And then very cheap fat is the olive oil, and both of these has more capacity to give you collagen than any meat also. So you will become flexible consuming this.
You
So
mean our
both the
body
fat in the
becomes
olive oil.
flexible with collagen?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
oh.
so it doesn't have collagen itself, but it has pretty much all you need to produce collagen, except probably like vitamin C, and I'm not sure how much copper it has, but if you take like copper and vitamin C while you're eating it, you know, you will get more flexible. So it's a great combination, especially if you have the olive oil that also has some compounds that help with flexibility, and it's fat, because you need the fat for the energy to create the collagen also. Um,
What
before,
about if someone like wants to take things like ashwagandha, lion's mane, these mushrooms, cordyceps? Are you good? Like, what's your opinion on those things?
yeah. So the thing is, there are. day mushrooms and there are night mushrooms. Usually, like the day mushrooms are the whiter ones. The night ones are more dark. Usually, you know. Um, as I said before, like I have this shaman intuition kinda. I also read so much about these things in the past, you know, and done experimentations pretty much every week, you know, since I started. Um, so I have created like different formulas. Right now, I'm on a very interesting formula, trying to create something that increases BDNF as much as possible, because I think that that's like the key to maximize intelligence over time. Although I try to create it with nootropics that also enhances blood flow to the brain, so as much of these BDNF activating compounds gets directly to the brain. But yeah,
That's what I was talking about. A lot of these things are nootropics, anyways.
yeah. So
Cordyceps.
reishi, for example,
Yes, reishi.
it's circular. Yeah, reishi. So it has these circular patterns. Same with the beetroot, you know. And these circular patterns, it means that it's good for the heart. And also pomegranate, it looks like a heart, so it's good for the heart. So you can combine these three, you know, and it will be very beneficial for your heart. Although beetroot has a lot of oxalates, so you have to ferment it before you consume it. But if you consume the beetroot, it's pretty much the healthiest thing in the world, you know.
Really?
Uh, yeah,
You believe beetroot is
and
one of the top tier like foods?
I would say it's the healthiest food in the world if it's fermented.
Really?
That's my perspective of it. We
What if
have
you
this
what if you do not ferment it?
Yeah, then it's not because it has so much oxalates, you know. But this is a part of the intelligent design. We have to understand that we have to be in harmony with nature. We cannot harm nature because if we do, there will always be consequences to it. And the fermentation, it's helping these bacteria, and in the reward, we're getting benefits from these bacteria in the gut while not getting the oxalates. Uh, so yeah, it's a very beautiful system, and if you understand the what the blood needs, you'll see that the beetroot has pretty much everything. It looks like a heart and everything, you know. It's super intelligently designed, all this. The human diet is, after all, the brain and the heart diet. So anything that looks like a heart and a brain that is from the nature, that is like the fruit parts, it's just perfect for us. I just saw this other day. There was this other Fruitarian man. He is like 70 something. I think it was like 74. And he said like his anti-aging strategy was like a lot of pomegranates, you know. He was like showing how he made like this pomegranate juice every day.
After we finish this, I'm gonna go downstairs. I have a shop nearby. I'm gonna go buy myself some. I don't think I've seen pomegranates, but I'll get some bananas, grapes.
Yeah,
You
that's a
mentioned
very good
grapes are
idea
very
actually.
good. Yeah, because I'm hungry anyways, right? And we're gonna wrap it up
Yeah.
in like 5 minutes or like a few minutes. But
So
can
yeah, I
you
know.
recommend can you recommend
Uh,
any books or maybe like someone on YouTube for people to watch?
I would recommend anyone to read the Kybalion. Um,
In terms of nutrition.
yeah, yeah, sure. Um, so everyone that has made this journey of this anti-aging with the fruitarian diet, especially anyone that is like above 70 years old, they've probably done it at least like 2 decades, and you can see that they look like in their 30s, like Annette Larkins and people like that.
Yes.
All of their books I would recommend. It doesn't matter if it's from her or anyone else. If someone sells a cheap book or an expensive, doesn't really matter. If it's from anyone that has real experience for a very long time and real results, then you should get their book. You know.
Okay, and I'm gonna do it
Um.
myself. I'm gonna do it myself. But I'm still in the beginning phases of this. So anything goes right now. Eli is good. Eli Martyr,
Yeah.
Freedom Society.
So I just wanted to clarify what I was talking about before because we had this about my experience, but also about Darius J. Wright when he saw like how the Earth looks like from above. So I wanted to first say like this shape shifting experience with the ethereal body. So I woke up like in the middle of the night above like my physical body, and I saw like these watery patterns I think with intention I could increase it more, but it's like, like moving water. It's like it's not still, it's like moving everything, like
Yeah, I
not
know
in
what you
waves,
mean.
but it's like light, it looks like. And if you would take a telescope and zoom in on Venus, the planet
Yes,
Venus, um, you would see pretty much exact same thing that I could see on like this etheric energy.
that's very interesting.
Um, so speaking about that, why can we see something that looks like watery patterns on Venus? It's probably because these stars are not what we're told. And there is Jay Wright, when he went up, he went very high up. He passed through the firmament above, and he didn't just pass through one firmament, he passed through 12. So there are many layers. In ancient books, they say that the earthly realm or the universe pretty much is like an onion. I would also say it's like a beetroot, because if you open a beetroot, you have the same circular patterns like on an onion. And the same circular patterns that I was speaking about that is good for the heart, you can see on the reishi. But you think about this like spherical shape, like on an onion, like they are speaking about in the past. That's pretty much how the universe looks like. And there is
I,
like a
I saw
flat
one
plane.
creator claiming that onion and garlic were not healthy. And this was a guy you
Yeah,
follow. The
it's
one I
true.
sent you, I forgot his name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's true. It's true. You actually lose brain cells if you eat like garlic raw. And you can also have the same experience if you eat a lot of onions raw.
But they also have
Uh,
some health benefits, right?
yeah, they are good for like removing bacteria, but I think that it's way safer to get the same results with chili. Uh, so if someone needs to like remove bacteria, infection, or anything, I think chili may be the safest way to do that without having these potential side effects. But like onion, I do think that maybe, because I haven't done enough experiments yet, maybe we can eat onion and it's just healthy if we ferment it in the right way to remove these compounds. But I suppose it wouldn't be strong anymore then. So I guess that some things are good for us. It's just like they're medicine, or that we need some more knowledge to apply them properly. Um,
All right, all right, all right. I understand. We're gonna have to finish, brother. It was a very good call. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from you in general. I'm gonna go
yeah,
dive deeper into this. If nothing
yeah.
else,
I didn't have much to explain about the moral aspects, but I guess there are a
we
lot
can we can
other
touch on
ways to
that.
learn about
We
that.
can touch on that next time. It should be very obvious to people, but next time we
Yeah,
can. We
sounds good. I can just say like Plato made good quotes about it. Also Pythagoras and a lot of philosophers in the past. Nikola Tesla was also a vegan, for example, and he was
for,
a super genius. So.
for Plato, I know. I mean, I know
All
about
right,
the
that's good.
quotes. I don't know about their lives and what they ate and stuff like this, right? Because right now I'm not trying
Yeah,
to be too judgmental towards people because I'm still learning myself, and people should decide themselves. But it's good to know these things. And fruitarianism in general, I see is on the rise. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe that's just my algorithm.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, brother.
Also, just before we end, I want to, yeah,
Sorry, please say.
I just want to say Doris J. Wright. Yeah, Doris J. Wright. He also saw that there is more land beyond Antarctica. So this
How?
flat plane of inertia, it's huge.
Okay.
Uh, Doris J. Wright, he saw that there is more land beyond Antarctica.
Okay, man. Thank you very much. See you next time. Speak to you, man, in private.
Thank you.